teach you the research videos and the research lectures and the data analysis lectures. Today I will explain some terms that may confuse to you, but they are very simple, they are very easy. So please listen to me. I have statistics for you. Statistics is the name of organization and interpretation of the data. Statistics have two types. One is descriptive statistics and the second one is inferential statistics. In descriptive statistics, we study and describe the data based on mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and variance. In descriptive statistics, we study the data mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and variance. While in inferential statistics, we take the results of the sample and generalize it on larger population using the inferential tests such as comparison tests, relationship tests, and prediction tests. In descriptive statistics, we have measure of central tendency and measure of dispersion. In descriptive statistics, we have measure of central tendency and we have measure of dispersion. Measure of central tendency means mean, median, mode. Measure of central tendency means mean, median, mode, and it is called as triple M, mean, median, mode. Since each has M letter, therefore it is called as triple M. And second measure of descriptive statistic is measure of dispersion. Second measure of descriptive statistic is measure of dispersion. And in dispersion, we study the standard deviation and variance. So what we have now, we have statistics, we have two types of statistics, then we have measures in descriptive statistics, and now we will study the inferential statistics. But let me to recap you. We have the statistics. Statistics is the science in which we organize the data and interpret the data. Then we have two types of statistics. One is descriptive statistic and the second one is inferential statistics. In descriptive statistics, we study the data based on measure of central tendency and measure of dispersion. In descriptive statistics, we study the data based on measure of central tendency and measure of dispersion. The measure of central tendency is mean, median, mode. The measure of central tendency is mean, median, mode, while the measure of dispersion is standard deviation and variance. While the measure of dispersion is standard deviation and variance. After studying the descriptive statistics, we come to the inferential statistics. In inferential statistics, we make the results of the sample. In inferential statistics, we make the results of sample and then generalize the sampled result on larger population. In inferential statistics, we make the results of sample and then generalize the sampled results on larger population. In inferential statistics, we study three types of tests. In inferential statistics, we study three types of tests. First is comparison tests, second is relationship tests, and third is prediction test. In inferential statistics, we study three types of tests such as comparison test, relationship test, and prediction test. Comparison test means that two group comparison and more than two group comparison. Comparison tests mean two group comparison and more than two group comparison, while relationship tests mean Pearson correlation. While relationship test mean Pearson correlation. The third one is prediction test. Prediction test means regression test. So in inferential statistics, we study three types of tests. One is comparison test, second one is relationship test, third one is prediction test. Comparison tests is of two types, two group comparison and more than two group comparison. Two group comparison is t-test, more than two group comparison is ANOVA. Then we have relationship test. Relationship test means the Pearson correlation test. Then we have prediction test. Prediction test means the regression test. So after studying all this, now we will come to know the population and sample. After all studying this, we will study sample and population. In statistics, we have the population, which is larger part of the study, while we have the sample, which is subset of the population. In statistics, we have two terms. One is population and second one is sample. Population is the larger and broader part of the study. Population is the larger and broader part of the study that you want to study, while sample is the smaller part of the study while sample is the smaller part of the study that you may take from population. The characteristics of sample is called statistic, while the characteristic of population is called parameter. The characteristic of sample is called statistic, while the characteristics of population is called parameter. For example, if you are studying mean median mode of sample, it is called statistic. If you are studying mean median and mode of the sample, then they are sample statistics. But if you are studying the mean median mode in population, then they are parameters. Again, we have population and we have sample. Population is the larger part of the study, while sample is the smaller part of the study. We cannot study the whole population, therefore we study the sample. Sample is taken from population. The characteristics of sample is called statistic, while the characteristic of population is called parameter. For example, mean median mode of sample is called statistic, while mean median mode of population is called parameter. So we have sample statistic and we have population parameter. Sample statistic is mean median mode, while population parameters are also called mean median mode. After studying this, we have estimation. Estimation means an educated guess. Estimation means an educated guess. We have two types of estimations. One is point estimation and second one is interval estimation. We have estimation. Estimation means to make an educated guess. Estimation is of two types. One is point estimation and the second one is interval estimation. Point estimation means a single value. Point estimation means a single value, while the interval estimation means two values in which there is duration. Point estimation means the single value, while interval estimation means two values which makes a duration. For example, if you have a single value like 10, if you have a single value like 10, it is point estimation. But if you have two values like 10 to 15, if you have two values like 10 to 15, from 10 till 15, there is duration, there is interval. This is called interval estimation. I hope you are watching this lecture and you are seeing this lecture. Please Please mention in the comment box that from which country or from which city you are watching my video. Please mention in the comment section from which city, from which district, or from which uh, country you are watching my video. I'm Dr. Kamran Kundi. I'm your teacher, I'm your mentor, I'm your guide in research and data analysis. I always teach you. Please write in the comment section from which city or from which district you are watching my videos.